I'm Mark Waters, and I'm the Chief of Police of the Village of Menomonee Falls Police Department. I assumed the position of Chief of Police on January 20th, 2021. Was born and raised in the city of Milwaukee, on the northwest side of the city of Milwaukee, actually, so not far from Menomonee Falls. But I was definitely a city of Milwaukee, born and raised, and had almost every intention of staying in the city of Milwaukee. My father was early on a Milwaukee police officer, and I went to Milwaukee public schools. I went to James Madison High School on the northwest side of Milwaukee. And my intention early on was to graduate from high school and go to a four-year college and study criminal justice. I ended up eventually at the University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee with long-term intentions of possibly going to law school to become a lawyer, because my father, the police officer, asked me not to be a police officer and be a lawyer instead. While I was going to college, I found myself wanting to finance my own education. So I enlisted in the United States Army Reserve to finance my education. So while I was going to school, I was actively employed in the Army Reserve, and I also managed a full-time job bartending throughout my career going to college. So as such, my four-year degree took a little longer. While I was going to school, I saw many of my classmates that were police officers for the various jurisdictions, and my goal was to become a Milwaukee police officer. The hiring process back in the 80s was very, very competitive and selective. So while I didn't want to put all my eggs in one basket, I also applied at some other law enforcement agencies in the Milwaukee area, and one of them being the Milwaukee County Sheriff's Department. And about 3/4 of the way through my undergraduate degree, I got hired by the Milwaukee County Sheriff's Department as a deputy, and that only made my academic endeavors even longer to get my bachelor's degree, because I took some time off to start my career in law enforcement. While I was working at the Milwaukee County Sheriff's Department, as excited as I was to enter into my law enforcement career, it didn't take long for me to identify that while the Milwaukee County Sheriff's Department is a fine organization, it's not the organization that I found myself wanting to work for. Because it's a county sheriff's department, because it's the Milwaukee County Sheriff's Department, it doesn't have that local law enforcement tasking. So I found myself wanting to work at a municipal law enforcement agency, being that traditional neighborhood cop. I further wanted to get out of Milwaukee County because I was disenchanted with the Milwaukee County court system and the chaos that accompanied that. So I found myself applying for suburbs that were close by that I really wasn't that exposed to: the city of Brookfield, the village of Menomonee Falls, Germantown, and some of the others. And I was fortunate early on in '92 to be hired by the city of Brookfield as a police officer. They graciously accepted me as a police officer. And I found myself in a unique position because on my first day of work, I came home and the landline was ringing, back pre-cell phone era, and it was the Village of Menomonee Falls Police Department calling to see if I wanted a job here. I gave it great thought. I talked to the chief here in Menomonee Falls, and with a small amount of knowledge of the two jurisdictions and municipalities, I chose Menomonee Falls, and it took about 3 weeks for that hiring process to take place. And so my career at the City of Brookfield Police Department, another fine organization, only lasted less than a month. And I came to the Village of Menomonee Falls. And the unique thing is the chief said, "Well, this is your third department in a matter of 4 years. How long are you going to stay here?" And I told him, I said, "I'll stay here as long as I'm happy with the department, and I'll stay here as long as you're happy with me." And that was 29 years ago, over 29 years ago. I'll crest into my 30th year in May, and I've never looked back. It's been a great department. It was everything I was looking for It has that small town feel, yet it's a large municipality with a lot of opportunities. I've had excellent opportunities here at the Menomonee Falls Police Department. The police department and its officers are supported by not only the community, but the politicians and the supervisory staff of the village, all the other department heads. They all work together as a cohesive team, and it was everything I was looking for in my career for law enforcement. It's shocking how supportive the community is, and it's only gotten more supportive. While I think they were supportive in my entire 30 years of the department, I think they have come out in most recent times and expressed their support more vocally. A week doesn't go by where we're not getting complimentary phone calls, emails, donations, gifts, widely different mechanisms to show their support. It's amazing, both the words of support and the financial donations is just over the top. I talk to my peers in other agencies and other municipalities, and I don't think anybody can top our support of our community. Anna was an excellent mentor and leader. She came on in 2007, and I was a captain at the time, second in command of the department, and I actually competed for the chief's job back then, and she was selected. So I embraced the opportunity to learn from her. She came over from the city of Milwaukee after a good career, long career there, and it was very interesting to see the outside perspective come in. In the beginning, there was a lot of questioning on why we did things the way we did. She gave great thought and analysis to what was happening, and when improvements could be made based on her training and experience, she did implement those. In 13 years working side by side with her, I learned a lot, I developed a lot. The organization improved. They say that the indicator of a great leader, or a great person even, is that the organization or wherever you were at is better as a result of your tenure. And I can say that the Menomonee Falls Police Department is a better organization. I'm a better law enforcement executive as a result of Anna Rosinski's tenure at the police department. Our Canine program started approximately 10 years ago. The training facility is in Wisconsin, where we send our officer to select the dog, get the initial training for several weeks, and then after the dog is placed at the department with our handler, then the dog and the handler go to monthly trainings, and that is a consortium of local law enforcement agencies that get together, that train together to make sure that they are maintaining the industry standards for canine programs. The staff at the Menomonee Falls Police Department is just outstanding. I think it's one of the finest police departments in the state of Wisconsin. As I said when I was selected to be the chief of police, it was just as much about everybody at the police department as it was for me. The selection of an internal candidate without going through a selection process externally is an indication of strong support of the department and where the department is and where they believe the department is going. Their selection in me is a reflection of the entire department's success, and that means everybody on the department. So had it not been for all those outstanding officers and civilian members here at the department doing such a good job to put this department in such a great light, I would not have been selected as the chief of police. But because of their outstanding performance, because of their outstanding work ethic and the product that they provide and the service that they provide to the community has such great support of this department, allowed me as an internal candidate to be selected as the chief of police. No matter what kind of law enforcement executive I would have been, had it not been for the outstanding candidates or outstanding members of this department I would not have been selected as the chief of police.